Hi all, Rick here with a bit of a tongue-in-cheek fun one. It has occurred to me that there are plenty of emergency separation systems and various parts of a starship that can be removed for maintenance or emergency events. So I thought it would be fun to look at something like the Galaxy-class starship and see, well, just how many pieces we can make fall off it. In increasing difficulty, let's go. While I'm not going to count the launching of shuttles, for the same reason I will not count the venting of cargo pods, there are a couple of small craft that are technically built into part of a ship's superstructure. The first of these is the captain's yacht. On other classes, the yacht may be replaced with some other vessels like the Aero Shuttle of the Intrepid, or it may not exist at all. But as an independent vessel, it is designed to easily launch from under the saucer, and then poodle about on its own. So first off, let's drop that, as it also does not deprive the vessel of anything to lose it. Secondly, we have the escape pods. There are a myriad of different designs for these, but every starship has them installed to accommodate most of, if not all, the crew. Surplus crew can use the shuttles. From ones designed to lock together to form a larger raft, to smaller capsules, they might be individual vessels, but they are built into the ship's very design and not considered small craft or cargo, but an ancillary system. So, all those can be jettisoned. So, the warp core can be ejected, the vital power heart of a ship and practically the entire reason it's out there in the first place. The core ejection only occurs as a second to last resort in preventing the destruction of the vessel before a core breach, and its removal, although requiring confirmation codes, is pretty much a rapid response and safety feature. I don't want to say it's surprisingly easy to do, but there is little hubbub involved. Reinstalling it takes longer, so let's drop that first. Wait, no, now we have minimal power, so okay, let's end with that instead. Next up, we can vent or even drop the antimatter storage tanks. Again, this is a safety feature, but one that is rarely needed, as it's the least likely point of failure in an engine system, but who cares, they can be, so they shall be. Now, with a lot of vessels, the most obvious part we can drop is the saucer section, or the primary hull, depending on what part you consider the main vessel, the bridge or the core. As the engineering hull contains a secondary bridge, I guess that will be the main body. Saucer separation has been a thing in starships for longer than you may think, and deserves its own video. Suffice to say, the original Constitution-class starship was capable of this feat, but the Galaxy-class was the first vessel to be able to detach and reattach at whim. In most older vessels, it was done purely as an alternative to escape pods, with no ability to reunify the vessel beyond a space dock's repair facility. Later ships made it easier and repeatable, with even newer designs beginning to incorporate it as a form of combat tactic. But before we do this, technical manuals actually have another separation system we can look at: the main bridge. Most starships have the bridge installed as a separate module during construction, and can even have alternative models constructed and cycled out despite being a similar design. Because of this, it was not too far of a stretch to retain those separation seams in the final build, and even add a micro-reactor and minimal life support system. This allowed the bridge to seal itself off and eject as part of an evacuation piece, but it was still seldom seen. Simply because if things have gone so bad that the bridge is the last available safe zone, then you've already lost the starship, and let's face it, generally the command crew are going to be the last ones off the vessel anyway. But there we go, we can eject that. Bye, Captain. Okay, now we can separate the saucer too. Alright, so next up, we can drop the nacelles. Yep, the wibbly tubes themselves can be jettisoned, again for emergencies. We know for certain that the Constitution class could do this, as it is mentioned by Kirk in the Savage Curtain, and technical manuals again highlight that these can be removed. However, the only time that would ever have come in useful, the Enterprise D got caught in a time loop and blew up before it could take any action. The ejection was an explosive decoupling, launching it away at 30 meters per second and not easily reversible. After this, we're moving on to systems that can be removed, but takes a little more effort. So the main deflector. No warp, no deflector needed. Let's eject this too. The only deflected dish we see removed is the Sovereign class Enterprise E. However, it is likely that every ship can remove the deflector for maintenance purposes, so I'm going to count that. While it was only the centralised dish that was removed, at minimum that is another part we can decouple. While it had to be done from the outside, this was because of the Borg hijacking the ship's systems. One of the weirder removals that can be done is any section of the hull plating. Yup, the hull itself can be removed relatively easily, and in fact is done so routinely when pieces need replacing. Battle damage, deformations and dents. If these could not be repaired, then a starship could eject the damaged section and install a new piece from spare sheets. This is one of the primary tasks completed by Worker B maintenance vessels, and the Galaxy class had plenty of those. After all, it was made for long-term deep space missions, and hull repair is one of the more common maintenance jobs. However, this is one of those more complicated parts to remove, as the only way to do it is from the outside. But we have seen the USS Cerritos, a California class, strip their entire hull in a few hours, while the USS Voyager could have its nacelles exposed for repair when it made planetside. It's a major job, but there we go, we can remove all of the Duranium outer hull. And I'm going to call that there. While other systems, such as entire sensor arrays and phaser placements, transporter emitters, can be removed, now we're entering the kind of disassembly that would be reserved for system refits and overhauls at a facility of some kind. So I think we've done a stellar job. The resulting Hulk is neither warp capable nor particularly insulated against space, and only on emergency power. But I think we have successfully answered the question that nobody was asking. Thanks for watching. I've been Rick, and I'll see you later for a video on a more serious topic, probably balls. Until then, goodbye.